Premier League, Group Stage, Round of 32.
It's a very popular map today, isn't it?
Indeed it is.
Upper right-hand corner, in the winner's bracket here, we're going to have our green Protoss from Infinity Gaming.
Lucien,
And his opponent, in orange once again, in the bottom left-hand corner, the teamless player.
Canary,
All right, I'm excited to see what kind of builds we're going to have. I'm expecting Lucien to be very methodical here. He's been one more of the predictable players as far as his early builds.
Yeah, he goes quite standard up to the point where he doesn't.
Up to where he doesn't.
Yeah. Well, you know, he
know.
plays the most standard gateway expand, except he then gets Stalker first and goes for a Stargate before expansion. We saw that in the game where he actually won on Frost, and in the other games he didn't really get a chance to play normally. He did a nice 3-gate. I'll give him that. And that was on this map, so perhaps we'll see that again if he thinks that's a strong and viable build against the Terran.
Now, I don't know if Lucien was in the chat room, for the second set, which you're allowed to do. But you know how he's been pulling that fast stalker out every game?
Yeah.
Would that not be totally justified after how you saw the series end last with Mass Reapers?
Yeah, it totally would, to be honest. It totally would, but what he actually should just be doing is scouring on 13 after Gateway and finding out if the Reapers are in his base, or in his opponent's base or not. And instead, he's scouting much later, so he isn't taking the really safe response.
Well, he's also going to be safe here, though, because in this case, we can see that he's not going Reaper. We can see that Marines are coming out. This is more looking like his Game 2 build, his mech play build.
Dislike the pulling of those probes immensely.
Unless you're going to actually get, and you are sure you're going to get the SCV, I never do it. Unless he is just in the worst possible spot right in the middle and I can just right around him.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
If he stops, you can go for it. If he doesn't stop, it's never worth it, and you lose way more mining time. The only thing you might want to do it for is to deny a scout, and even then, it's not very effective. But I do think it's interesting that he's going for that 3-gate again, as he's done before. I want to see how he does it this time, because it worked last time, but in this game, Canary's gone factory, and the one thing that's going to shut this down is Widow Mines. No detection. It's not good against that, and I speak from experience, because I do a better 3-gate than this on NA server. When I play on NA, I just do it because it's fun and a bit cheesy, and it gets shut down by Widow Mines.
Yeah, and just like the last time, Lucien is putting the pylon in the exact same location.
Yeah, I mean, this is an absolutely fine place for your first proxy pylon, but then you build your second and third ones getting much closer. It just hasn't. There's a much better 3-gate than this. A much better 3-gate than this.
Okay.
Okay, everyone else can do this, it's fine.
I was getting worried there when I was.
Yeah.
You were reading that too. I'm like, I hope so, because I didn't turn anything off. But all right, here we go. So a couple Marines are basically defense with that Widow Mine on the bottom of the ramp. Will help out against Stalkers. I want to know if he's going to go for that fast Twilight and get the Zealot legs again, because that was very effective. That prevents that kiting of those Marines. And they're such a tanky unit. That's cheap. And with the Stalkers behind him, it can be a very good early game build.
It can, but not if your opponent's got double Widow Mines.
Yeah, not so much.
There we go, and his 1 and his 2. And that pressure is shut down. He can't push that. And now he's got no base. There's a CC coming up for Canary. Canary's at tier 3 tech, and 3-gate's not great.
Yeah.
It's not the plan. It's not the good plan. And the worst
we've
part
been
is
seeing Canary go with Widow Mines every time, haven't we?
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, they're pretty good. I will not argue with the Widow Mine. It scares me. It's good against oracles, so it's a really safe early game choice if you don't feel like scouting properly. It's good against gateway pressure. If you see anything that looks like gateway pressure, which to be fair, Canary did, but I think he already had his factory coming down, and they're great for drops if all of those turn out to be non-viable.
All right, you guys do me a favor because the chat room's worrying me. Somebody type the number 5 so that I know you guys can hear me, and I know it's going to take 15 seconds, but somebody type the number 5, in which case I'll feel better about life. And if nobody does, then we have an issue.
Yeah, we might do.
Now we do have a drop coming here with 1 Widow Mine. Okay, hey. I'm getting 5s. So yes. Okay, people can hear me. So
the classic Widow Mine borrow at the building nexus.
Oh, I like that. I like. It's just like this is going to be a surprise for you when your first probe comes out and says, "Hey."
Well, the worst part is, when those first probes come out, they're going to all be rallied down to 1 mineral patch. Here they come. They're all going to bunch up, and the Widow Mine is going to kill 8 probes. Here we go. Just give them a minute. No, some of them have gone back.
Oh!
4. Okay.
You got 4.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad at all. Envision being utilized here to take care of this problem, but that already paid for itself.
Exactly. And getting that Envision used also means that Oracle is not across the map using its Pulsar Beam, which is, of course, the second most terrifying spell ability in the game.
Mm-hmm. I really like when I'm playing as Protoss using Revelation. Run over, find the main army, and then pop it down. It's good for a minute, and then I can reposition my army to go attack somewhere else, but still keeping tabs on where they are. I don't know about you, but I love that.
I love it too. It's an absolutely sick build that this guy taught me. You basically go proxy 4 oracles and use pressure constantly. Then you have 2 groups of 2 oracles. You multitask, dancing in and out of the mineral lines. But after he gets his defense up, you just group them all together, run in, drop an revelation on the medevacs, run back out again. Keep doing it, and they can never drop you. Whole time you're just building up like massive Colossus army.
Exactly. Yeah. One of those fun things. Now, have you noticed that Lucien has absolutely no interest in photon cannons? His goal in life is Envision.
Yeah.
For detection. But that's fine. Now, he hasn't used his pylon yet. He has it available to him. I don't know if he spotted that as it was going around. I don't think so.
No, he just missed it, actually, by a couple of hex.
There's going to be 1 Oracle over there, so Envision's going to be able to be utilized. Oh, no, that's Hellions. Okay. That's a problem. He does have 3 Zealots and a Stalker back there, though. So, it just kind of depends how he squeezes this in. I'd love to see him drop right there between the buildings.
Yeah. I don't think there's actually, even though it looks like it, I don't think there's a proper space down there.
No,
but the army
move away.
The army split up really nicely for Lucien, so it's quite hard for these Hellions to actually do all that much.
The Stalkers should not be running away.
No, miscontrol. He just boxed the mineral line and went. Little bit sloppy there. Yeah, all of the probes. This is what seems to be Lucien's downfall. He responds to early game harass out of Terran so poorly. And we saw it in that game before, but that does not mean he's going to lose by any stretch.
Look at this. Oh, my.
This is worse than the previous time.
Yeah, 23 workers killed. 23.
Yeah, and Canary's army comp is better than that of... I can't remember anyone's name.
Wait. What, the guy that Lucien played first?
Beat?
New Pride?
Ah, New Pride, that's it. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah.
I liked him.
The guy with 3 different entire builds.
Called. Yeah. 3 whole different builds. But yeah, this Protoss Force, once again, Lucien's just kind of gone...
He did this last time.
Yeah,
it worked last time, and we didn't think it would.
Work this time.
No, he doesn't have Zealot legs.
It can't work this time. Surely it can't work this time. You can't push into tanks like that. PDDs shut down the Stalkers instantly, so the Vikings are free to still do nothing. The Zealots being shut down by Hellbats and tanks. Lucien knows it.
Down 1-0 here in the winners bracket. It is our green Protoss player from Infinity Gaming.
Lucien.
And his opponent, already up on game in this series, and if he takes this one, he'll advance through to the round of 16. In orange, currently teamless and in the bottom right of
Canary.
PlayStation.
You notice he's doing the exact same build as last game? And I know I'm talking about purely a supply depot at this point, but that's been telling the tale with how he's been doing his builds. He literally stuck it in the same spot. So that makes me think already. I'm already seeing mech in my head.
I don't know. I think it's too early to tell, but you're probably right.
Of course it is. But
you're probably right.
I just find that certain players will build a certain structure in a certain spot when they're going to do a certain thing. And every time he has gone mech, this is the third time he did the same spot with that supply depot. So that just raises every flag in my head that I'm about to see mech. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I did some practice for the ASL yesterday. You're not playing this season, are you?
I'm not, no.
Okay. I'm playing this season, and so I started doing some practice games yesterday, and I was playing on this map, ZVZ, and I really realized this is a fun map. Now, I can see this being an absolutely awful map for a Protoss player, but I don't mind this map. I don't think it's fair to have those island locations if it was the opposite spawns, because it's just, that's really OP for Terran. Really, I mean, you don't have to do any tier 2 or anything to get that. All you need to do is build your first quick CC and lift it off. You can even look like you're on a one base play, because it's going to take forever before a Protoss or a Zerg is going to get over there to figure it out.
It makes my Zerg friend incredibly angry that Terran can do that. He hates this map, and it's been vetoed by both him and I, because I just can't be dealing with the craziness that comes out. I prefer habitation with the ability for Terrans to float to the gold to this map, because this map is silly.
Yep. He tried to get that SCV again.
We saw CC first out of Canary, and I kind of like that. It's the first time we've seen him use a CC first build, but I think that's super
double racks. Interesting. Oh, he's going to go for... You think he's going to flow all the way up to the upper right island?
No.
Or do you think he's just going to go ahead and go as normal?
Nah, I don't see it. I do see Lucien...
No gas either.
I don't get what Lucien's doing. He chronoed Warp Gate, and I don't know why, because that makes absolutely no sense. But I think when you scout at no point in the game, you might feel a little bit threatened. You might go, oh, I'll put one chrono into Warp Gate, because then, you know, I'll have that a little bit earlier to make sure that I'm safe against this. And he's trying to basically do a build with no scouting. And he hasn't scouted very much in really any of the games.
No, yeah.
And it's counting against him, because you don't need to chrono Warp Gate. I cannot remember the last time I chronoed Warp Gate.
Yeah, I don't know.
I can, and it was like... It was probably Wings of Liberty, because it's like, why?
You remember when Warp Gates took like no time at all to upgrade, and then they tripped double the time?
That was before my time. I wasn't playing then.
Warp Gate used to be like nothing. It was just like poof, you had it.
Yeah.
And that was where 4-gate timings were ridiculous. Oh my goodness, we are seeing our first Robo. He's counting on mech. He's counting on mech. And this is the one time he's actually going bio.
Well, I don't know. Getting a Robo out is not really a bad choice in this situation.
No. You can get the Colossus.
Yeah, exactly. And Colossi are good. He doesn't build Splash. We haven't seen him make any so far, but the fact that he's got this, it's very, very important.
Why?
This is weird as well. I don't get why he keeps transferring probes between his bases. The only thing I can think of is because it's like safety against Widow Mines, and it means that he's less likely to lose a big chunk in one go. But
that's true.
That to me feels
I
like...
do drone transfers.
You know, I mean, no, drone transfers are fine, but not when you're not like going to be fully saturated. You transfer excess down, not like the amount that you have to... You don't halve your workers, because then you're not on quite such an efficient base anyway. It's a bit different for Zerg, but I don't like that as a decision. Lucien not getting an observer. There we go. There's the observer coming out now, and that's super important to get that out, just in case of the Widow Mines that he's seen every single game so far.
Yeah, I mean, that's his alternative here instead of the Stargate.
Yeah. Canary hasn't used this build at all. This is the first time he's really gone bio.
I believe it is. A little hit squad here. You think he's going to move out, or just use his defend and he can move the orbital out? Wow, he's going up to 5 racks.
Yeah.
There it goes. Let's see. Is he going to take? Yep. Okay. He's going to take that main, the natural.
5 racks is
Now-
really odd.
He is behind, despite using that as a macro CC. He is 4 workers behind at this moment. I want to see the gas saturation. 464 to 128. So Lucien with a ton of gas that he's going to be able to use. And here comes the robotics bay. Okay.
This is pretty nice from Lucien. He's not spending his chrono efficiently, and he would have a serious macro lead if he was doing. But as it is, he's not really investing in the appropriate tech. He's not getting the forges that he desperately needs to boost Colossus efficiency by as much as attack upgrades do. It feels clunky.
Sluggish.
Yeah, that is it. Actually, that does make sense. I'm just looking. He has an average in this game of 39 APM.
Yeah, you're right. 39 to 114.
That's really, really slow. I'd been thinking that things weren't happening at the right time, and the thing that really made me look was these 2 observers sat in front of the base. They're just sat where they're rallied, and he hasn't done anything with them. That is.
Look at the energy on the 2 Nexi.
Yeah.
It's almost 100 on both.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that worries me. I mean, I'm dumping. I never have excess energy on a Nexus. It is always,
Good
whatever
Protoss
that
macro.
warning is that.
You should basically be hearing not enough energy the whole time.
Yeah,
I can't.
exactly.
Yeah. Or whatever it is.
Mhm.
I can't remember the voice. I can only remember the terrible
No, but
voice.
you're exactly right. I mean, I hear that all the time because I'm sitting one of my hotkey C, and okay, anytime, get some more energy, you stupid Nexus.
Yeah. But
I'd
the
like
fact
to
that
see
you've
these
used it is
observers move
good.
out.
Yeah.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I said the fact that you've used it is good. Like, it's really annoying when you don't have any energy, but the fact is it actually means you've already used that energy to make things better. You're in a better spot because of it. And energy on the Nexus is the Protoss's meal. Zerg has larval production. Terran's got mules and everything else that comes from the CC, the orbital. And Protoss has chrono boost. And if you're not using your chrono boost, then you're automatically behind. And that's why Canary's got fantastic income and has an SCV lead, which should literally never happen unless the Protoss is going for an all-in and has stopped making workers.
Yeah, he seems pretty content on 2 base right now. He's not making any probes. We do have that Armory Ghost Academy coming down. So that's going to be a thing.
Wow.
Pure Bioforce here, Marine Marauder. Where does he got? Does he have double NG bays? Does he have any NG bays? No.
Actually doesn't. That's going to count against him. It's really, there's 2 barracks that he made, and I said that was weird. One of those should have been an eBay. I knew something wasn't right. You need to get those. And what it looks like, and I know he's about to put down a Nexus, so this is going to come out to buy me, but what the build Lucien is doing looks like is 2 base plus 1 Colossus with charge all in. Instead, he's taken a 3rd base, so he's built. This isn't a macro build, but he's going macro style, and that's holding him back. With Colossus, also Blink is probably a little bit better than Charge. So, although they're both really good, but
Yep. He's getting a lot of Zealots. He's got the Colossus. He's not going to have a whole bunch of anti-air to deal with the Vikings that are going to be literally just going after the Colossus. Yeah. But yeah, this is looking a lot like Game 3, where he had the Zealot charge. He does have Templar Archives completed too. He's got a lot of options. He's leaving himself a lot of options here.
Yeah. Right now, I got to say, Canary needs a 2nd starport as a priority because he's got 1 medevac, right? He's now only making Vikings because he's seen Colossi. So if there's a timing and he stims and Protoss just leaves, that army isn't really being returned to health. It's drastically reducing the longevity of the Terran forces.
He's all in. Oh boy.
I mean, I was going to say if the force fields are good, but it's like what?
Oh my goodness, he is literally all in.
Every single SCV being pulled.
Everything. Oh my goodness, he is sending it all. And there's only 2 Vikings. That's not enough to deal with the Colossus. Oh my.
No,
and this Zealot is going to say WTF.
The thing is, it's gonna work. I really think. No, wait, I suppose not. Actually, he's got 3 Colossi. He is whooping High Templar.
Oh my god.
I actually think this is going to totally come down to engagements, but
the angling is going to be so important here.
Yeah.
The 3rd base may fall, but if he goes down there, he's never coming back up. No, don't chase down that factory. You got bigger problems.
I agree that he should not have gone for the third base. Lovely drops coming down. EMP'd himself. That was weird.
Oh my goodness.
The SCVs are stuck in the back.
Oh my goodness.
The SCVs are stuck in the back. He can't do anything, but there's no real defense for these Colossi either. If the bio gets up in their grill, they aren't going to be able to defend them. The Zealots are being warped in desperately in the back, but no time up from that Mothership core is meaning that every single part...
It's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. It's
not.
47 workers killed, obviously. We know why. And there's a GG and Lucian's going to win this game.
Oh, that shouldn't have happened.
In the upper left-hand corner, who I have been announcing over and over again because this guy does not want to die. It is our Green Protoss from Infinity Gaming.
Lucien.
And his opponent for what could be the final time in this tournament. Before he goes down to the lower bracket. In orange, it's our Terran
Canary.
player.
Yep, I feel like for this series here, I mean, we've had 3-game series every single series so far. And you notice how, okay, maybe he just puts that, you see how the supply depot's placed again? Okay, so obviously I was wrong about it always being mech, but he's consistent.
That's true. He's got a style and he sticks to it.
Yep. And what do we got going back here? Alright, so it's not going to be any... Well, I mean, this is a very hard map for him to go like a proxy 2-Rax Reaper, because you'd have to get lucky and find your opponent the first time. And that's just not going to happen, because whenever you go to scout on a 4-person map, you notoriously will always go the wrong way. It's just a fact of life. So I wouldn't be... I'd like to see Lucien go for a Nexus right after this. I would like to see it. It's not going to happen. But I feel like that's a perfect play on this map. What do you think?
I don't know. I just don't know at this point.
It's been a very confusing day.
It's been a confusing day. And he's going Marines.
He's going Marines?
He's building a Marine.
A Marine.
On a map like Altazim, scouting is really important. Now, he has actually scouted on the first go with the SCV, and that's very good for Canary. It means he's going to get in, see what his opponent's up to. He sees that there are the right number of pylons in the base, and he sees that there's only one gas, so he's able to get a pretty good read on it just because of that. However, if he'd gone Reaper, he could have possibly done something about it.
Yep,
Instead,
and Lucien is going to get a good scout, too.
Yeah, they both went the right direction.
Ironic. Ironic.
Just for once.
Sees the factory. Okay. He basically saw what he needed to see there. Now, we have the factory first. This is more feeling like a 1-1-1 build. It's more feeling that way.
I agree. I think that that's exactly what he's going to do, and I think he's going to do the build that he used with the Widowmine drops.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see the Widowmine... I don't even know is the thing, because it could really be anything. He's on one gas. I think 1-1-1 is correct. What he built out of the factory is somewhat up for debate. He isn't producing a reactor on either of the structures before this point, so that's...
Well, it's going to delay him up. Unless he goes for a fast medevac out of that, and he's going to go like a 4 Marine, 1 Widowmine drop, or 6...
It'll be a frontal push. It'll be a frontal push with, I think, two and a bit Widowmines, but that can be really effective. Or it would be if this Robo wasn't actually coming down from Lucien.
I'm glad to see that again.
It's coming down at a really good time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Doesn't need this gateway, but it's not bad. It's just different.
Yep.
I would have made
He's
it
going right into that medevac.
Yeah. He's going for the drops.
This is going to be a fast drop.
Yeah, so Lucien, if Lucien opens with the Observer, as he should, then he will actually be basically totally prepared for this. Like, totally prepared, and it should do very little damage. However, in the past, we've seen him fall apart as soon as he's been confronted.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, he's got the perfect number of units here to fill up a medevac and do a boost. Let's see where he goes. Or I'm expecting him to pick these up. Now, this is one of those rare times where Lucien, he did that probe transfer that you said you were kind of opposed to, where it might save him half his probes. Oh, no, but he's going to go south. He's going to go after the natural. And there's absolutely nothing even in the ballpark over there.
No. Did he build the observer? He hasn't built any observers. You have to build an observer straight away out of that robotics facility for this exact reason. Ascended dropping out momentarily, but he'll be back. You have to build an observer out of that robotics facility straight away for this exact reason. Having seen that fast factory, we know that Lucien scouted it. You can't afford to not build at least one, maybe two observers. But instead, it might be okay, because Canary is just going to fly straight into the side of the base for whatever reason.
Oh, he's going to leave those there to try to force the stalkers up on the high ground so that the Marines are free to have fun.
That is actually quite a smart drop that really shouldn't have worked. Seriously, in theory, this is fantastic, but realistically, the Protoss should have been on top of it. He should have had detection. These Widow Mines should be just dead already. But instead, because of that late observer, the Widow Mines will get picked off. If he gets that medevac, that's...
they just didn't work. Marines got dropped anyway.
Yeah, the emergency bail. It's only one hit away anyway.
Yeah, anything will kill it right now. So how many workers did he get? He got 5.
5 isn't too bad, but it's not too good either for going for a 1-on-1. Only getting 5 workers for the cost of 3 or 4 Marines, 3 Marines I think, and a Widow Mine, with another Widow Mine presumably about to be killed.
Yeah, we didn't even realize one Widow Mine got to hang out in there.
Yeah, it wasn't killed.
Oh, what did he
Okay.
As it was tunneling its way right underground, trying to cover that dirt above its head, it went dead.
Yeah, I really thought that he wasn't going to get away with that. And yeah, he squeaked it out.
He squeaked out the medevac too. I mean, that's 200 resources he didn't lose if he heals it up. Got the Raven coming back out. Widow Mine second. He's going mech. Okay.
Mech is really interesting against Protoss, I think. I really actually kind of struggle with it as a player. I find it to be interesting to deal with simply because my usual tactic would be to counter harass with prism drops, which I do most games anyway. But actually, when they have mech, they have this option to just turret up because they aren't spending their minerals on anything else. So it's really hard to counterattack in that regard. In addition to that, your army comp has to be quite exact. You need a lot of immortals. I think Voiders are quite good, and a buttload of charge lots.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, as soon as he realizes his opponent's going mech, which I know he hasn't figured out yet, he's going to need to switch it up to immortals, and definitely get a second robotics bay. It's got Twilight Council on the way, so the charge lots will be something he's been doing pretty much every game. I would expect to see that.
Yeah, charge is a great upgrade. It makes the Zealot, which is okay, into the Zealot, which is good, and that is important.
Well, let's see here. Alright, so he's up to 5 warp gates. What are we looking over here? We are at 2 factories with 2 more going down. It's going to total 4.
Yeah. He'd have so much more. At this point in the game, right, it's entirely realistic for a Protoss to have 60 workers. 60, 66 workers, pushing towards 72, and a third base finished with an army that's about this size. But because Lucien doesn't spend his chrono boost on his economy at the right times, he ends up in this situation where he actually is behind on workers on a Terran, which should never happen. And I mean, last game it didn't matter because the Terran pulled all his workers and then didn't use them in the fight. But if that doesn't happen again, realistically, Canary should be out-macroing to a huge extent his Protoss opponent.
What do you think about the fact that there's still no forges on the field?
You know what, I hadn't noticed that, but that is bad. Attack upgrades make such a big difference to Immortals and Colossi, both fantastic units against mech.
Now, he did, just as I say that, he did drop 2 forges, but I mean, he should have had 1-1 going by, or, at least, I don't know.
Really have 2-2, I think.
Yeah, I was just saying,
2-2 should be nearly done. My mental timings say to me that 2-2 should be done, or getting close to done.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, plus two's on the way here for Canary. He's got
Yeah.
that macro CC in his base.
That's got to become a third base soon, right? Oh, there we go. Lifting up just now, taking it out to the third base. Great timing. He's on a good worker count. He's on a good supply count, and his upgrades all look nice. I still don't think his army can fight up the ramp into two Colossi, charge lots and Archons, but
Yeah, especially if the Zealots block up the ramp, you're going to get bottleneck. That would be phenomenal. And the Zealots here coming in and going to say goodbye.
yeah. Picking off that Marine who's harassing the third base, but it now means the Canary knows that there's a third just going down at 13 to 14 minutes. That's so late. It's so late for a third base.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take... I mean, I would go so far as to say there's no point in taking a third base at 14 minutes. It's... At that point, you should have either gone all in or you've already lost the game.
Well, he's making a lot of Archons here. He hasn't made any attempt to make Storm, which, since he's going against Mech, doesn't matter.
It only matters less. I like me a bit of Storm against the Vikings and the Hellbats, but other than that, it's not that major.
Well, a couple got in, but the Charge Lot should be able to alleviate this issue. And I don't think he didn't lose a single worker.
I know how he... Yeah. You remember those observers he didn't make earlier? At this point in the game, you should have maybe 4 or 5 observers, and they should be scattered around the map. There should be one at your opponent's base, one on the drop paths, and one in front of your own base to whatever extent you feel comfortable. And then just one spare one with the army. And that means that you always have detection with you. You always know exactly where your opponent is and when he wants to attack you. And it's map hacks. It's like map hacks, except you're spending like 500 gas on it, and it's so worth it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's so worth it. I get observer speed in the late game. That's how worth it is.
Yeah, I almost never get that upgrade, I'm not going to lie, but I get the point for sure. It's kind of like Overlord speed. It's worth getting.
It's less worth getting than that, but it's still really good.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got 6 Hellions sitting outside of this third, but the Zealot Charge and the 1 Archon should be able to keep things relatively even. And if you notice, Lucian's catching up on the upgrades. He's at about 25% on 2-2, and our Terran player is going to be at 3-0 once his third finishes there. Now, how do you feel about that? I've seen some do that where they go for the attack upgrade, but they don't go for the armor upgrade, which...
The baits are real. That was nice. Get a few zealots. Probably not cost effective in the end. I thought he was going to splash better. How do I feel about... Which upgrades was it, sorry?
That our Terran player is going for no armor upgrades.
I like it on mech, but less than I would like it if the Protoss was doing it. This Hellion runway actually did massive damage just there. Going into the main with the blue flame now, shredding the pro line.
Oh boy, yeah.
That is...
And a lot more workers died than I thought.
Yeah,
26 workers were killed in that engagement. Yeah,
a load of them died in the main. A load of them died in the main.
Yeah. Wow.
Canary, if he wasn't ahead in macro already, which he was, he's definitely ahead in macro now.
Oh yeah, 33 workers to 75. He's 41 behind.
Yeah. He'd actually at this point begin to start sacrificing some of his SCVs and building more command centers with the SCVs he has remaining, using the mules to carry him through and just mining gas. That'll allow him to reach this kind of nearly maybe 170 supply mech army. Mm-hmm. And that is a big army supply. That is a bigger mech army supply than Protoss has army supply.
Yeah, I mean, look at the supply counts right now. 130 to 117.
Yeah. That's true, actually. He's focused very heavily into his army and hasn't really lost much of that. If he hadn't lost all of those workers, he'd be getting towards max now. And it is 18 minutes, so that's
I hope
to be
he
expected.
Doesn't string this. Don't string your army.
He's gonna, though. He's gonna.
Don't string your army. Go in together. Be friends.
I don't understand what he thinks he's doing with this engagement. If he wins this, I'll be incredibly surprised. All of the Colossi are being shredded by Vikings, and even with the Archons there, the Hunter Seeker's going to finish this one off. All of the Zealots have been killed by tanks. There are still some remaining, but...
Wow. Wow.
I mean, he won, but look... Even so... No, actually, hold on, I'm looking at that.
Their base is gone.
There's no way that should work.
There's no way that should work. I love that. You're absolutely right, but it did. It just happened.
I don't get it. I'm looking at that.
What
And,
just happened?
Sometimes when you see an engagement that you think someone's going to win or lose, you kind of go, okay, I see why it worked out the way it did. I just don't get it this time.
Wow.
He's holding. Canary's holding. And
Look at the overall army supplies now.
yeah, he held
100
in
each.
the end. I'm so surprised that did half
He
the
lost
things it did.
25 workers in that engagement.
You know what? It's zealots. I'm gonna go full back on it. Zealots are a good unit and they don't die very much.
They want to see the resources lost tab, so I'm going to go ahead and point that out here.
Yeah.
Lucien has lost 12,600. Canary 14,300. So right now about 1,700 lead there for Lucien, losing less. So it was cost effective as far as that's concerned. It's just amazing because I did not think, just like you, that was going to work.
Okay, I've thought about it a bit more now. And I think the reason why it was a bit more effective than we thought it was going to be was because there weren't enough tanks. I mean, Hellbats are good, but they, at that point in the game, especially when they're biological, so Archons are actually doing bonus damage to them, it was surprisingly effective in that regard. He wants to be sieging these up.
They're
This
not
is a
sieged
bad
up.
engagement.
What are you doing? What? Oh my god, this is all going to die.
Okay, Canary's decided that he really doesn't like the idea of going to the round of 16. He's just going to attack this mech army straight into his opponent.
Yeah, that's it. That's the army.
I didn't get it.
That made a 3,000 resource lost lead for Lucien. That's bad. Oh my goodness, I don't get it. Plus 3 attacks coming now for Lucien, so he's going to catch up.
He's still so far down on supply. His Terran opponent, regardless of everything that has just happened, which has been perplexing and confusing, his Terran opponent has he's got a huge. No, please siege up. If you don't siege up, are you not siege? No. Seriously. Against Archons, you don't want to be sieged.
Are they just going to go back and forth here? Are we just going to...
What's happening?
I don't know. They just keep running back and forth and killing each other. Oh, that Templar, poor guy.
So confusing. I still have to feel like I favor Canary because he's got the better macro. He's got the better... He should have the better income, but somehow he does not, and I don't get it. He's on 69 workers to 51, and he should have mules, but he's down in income. Is he just not muling?
I'm looking. He's transferring a whole bunch of workers.
Idols. Yeah, he's got so many idols.
Yeah, he's transferring a lot of workers to his 4th. Oh my goodness, what a weird game.
Yeah. DNA in the chat saying you can't siege against charged zealots and archons. Yeah, you're meant to be already sieged, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and he hasn't been sieged other than that first original engagement. They've been unsieged. Just like, what's happening?
Good. Charged Archon is really good. I won't knock Charged Archon as a composition, but it shouldn't function against a well-structured mech army. Beta Hellbat is nice. It provides good tanking, but not as much as we're seeing being made by Canary. I think he's trying to dump his minerals somewhere, but he's not dumping it into the right places. He's putting it in Hellbats, which aren't that good, and they use up supply, compared to more tanks, battle cruisers, which I think is actually a really fantastic transition, assuming that it's controlled nicely and he gets up to that critical mass, and command centers. That's the really important one. When you're meching, you dump your minerals into command centers so you can dump your SCVs into the void, and then you power through on mules, win with a massive army supply advantage. Canaries has never done that. He's never shown any sign of making more command centers. He's playing it like a Protoss has to, and that's a weakness of Protoss that Terran gets to ignore.
Yeah,
except
he's
when
got
you do this.
13 gateways right now. A bajillion zealots. Actually, I know what a bajillion equals. 44 zealots. And
that's nearly right.
Yes. And he's got a whole bunch of Templar, which he's going... Well, okay, he's going to make... Oh, he should merge these bottom two into an Archon if he's going to do what I think he's going to do. And he's going to do exactly what I thought he was going to do. And then he's going to move out. And they're going to run into each other.
Now, all I'm going to say before this fight is...
Too late.
Lucien shouldn't win this. I think... Let's wait and see.
Let's wait and see.
I'm not going to say anything. Like, normally I try and get a bit excited, but okay.
There you go.
Okay.